Today we are back in Athol, Idaho, and we're going to talk about Athol, some of the pros and cons about Athol. We're in niche.com today talking about some of the background of Athol and just maybe some things that maybe you should know before you make a move to the Athol area. So let's take a look and let's get after it right now. Hey, if this is the first time to the channel, do us a favor, go ahead and subscribe below, tap the bell so you can be notified every time we talk about anything going on up here in the North Idaho area. Like I said, we are in the Athol area today. We're going to talk a little bit about Athol. So, you know, we get people every day asking about different areas up here in North Idaho. Athol has been a hot topic. A lot of people, it's the town with the funny name, but you know, there's some beautiful areas out there, and it's a little north of the Coeur area, so we're going to talk a little bit about where it's at. And we're just going to see if Athol might be the place that fits for you. So, like I said, we talk to people every week looking to make the move, looking to get some information on what property is like up here in this area. If you are one of those people, feel free, give us a call, shoot us a text, leave a comment on the video, give us a like. And we'd be happy to talk to you about your plans and goals of North Idaho, if that's it, or maybe of helping you mark North Idaho off your list if it doesn't quite meet your criteria. But today, let's talk about Athol. For those that maybe not quite sure where Athol's at, as you can kind of see, it's here on the map. This is Spokane over here. Got the airport out here. And then so if you come out along Highway I-90 headed towards Montana, but you get to Coeur here and you come up Highway 95 and you just shoot right up there. Athol is about 50 miles from the airport, and you are approximately 20 miles outside of Coeur. So that might help out a little bit, just kind of giving you an idea where the Athol area is at. So let's talk a little bit about Athol. And like I said, we're here in niche.com today. Talk a little bit about Athol has a overall niche grade of a C+. We're going to talk through some of these different points here on the report card. Let's try to get an idea why. First of all, let's talk about the schools. And the school systems there, if you're in Athol, you're going to Spirit Lake to go to school, unless you're in elementary school. They do have an Athol elementary school, but your big ones are going to be the Timberlake Senior High and the Timberlake Junior High. This North Idaho STEM charter, you know, it's a charter school that's so it's not really a public school, and so that one actually is in Rathdrum. So, you know, if you want to put your kids in the STEM school, you would be taking them to the Rathdrum area. But for the sake of what we're talking about, the public schools here, Timberlake Senior High, Timberlake Junior High, you know, both these come with a B+. They're great schools. They've got some great, you know, programs for kids, you know, extracurricular programs, depending on what your kids like, whether it's sports or, you know, or studies or, you know, getting ready for college, all those kinds of things. So just know that, you know, there's all those programs for that. We did a video on Idaho schools. So, you know, if you want to deep dive more into some of the different schools here in Idaho, North Idaho, then you could always watch that video. The Athol Elementary School does come with a B-, so just kind of give you an idea there. Housing comes in at a C+. Now housing should probably really come in more like a D or D-, or, you know, here, if they're basing the housing off of this medium home price of $232,400, I will tell you that is very low. So right now, the medium sales price in that area year to date right now is $656,000. So that is very low. Your average sales price year to date in that area right now is at $719,923. So the housing has really excelled, and that's going to help push up the cost of living in that area. That has an effect on not only your housing, but taxes and some of those things. So just keep that in mind, that it is hard to find a home in this price range. In fact, I went in and looked today just to get an idea of what homes were available right now today. We're in the fall of 2024. And the lowest priced home right now it's actually a brand new build. I think it's pretty good value. It's 1,200 square foot, a 3-bed, 2-bath for $384,000. It's getting hard to find properties in this area under that $400,000. Some of these smaller towns, though, are offering some of that. If you've watched any of our other videos about Bonner's Ferry, Priest Lake, Spirit Lake, some of those do have some of these prices, the Silver Valley area. So if you are looking to get into more of a starter home, or maybe you're downsizing, some of these areas still have some of these properties that you can get in for some of these lower price points. Now this area also has a higher price point right now. The highest price point, and I know we've had homes more expensive than this, but as of right now on the market, just under $4 million, around $3.8 million is our highest priced property in this area. So that does help drive that average sales price and medium sales price up higher than what we're seeing here. Not a lot of places to rent out in that area. If you're looking for rentals, this shows the median rent around $850. I'm not saying you can't find a place to rent out there, but you got a lot of places with acreage and some of that type of stuff. So the rental price points are typically harder to, like in a town like Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, Rapture, you can have a home in a subdivision and you're going to see like a 3-bed, 2-bath for around $2,000 to $2,500 in that, anywhere from 12 to 2,000, 2,500 square feet, versus going out in the Athol area. Most likely, you're also going to be paying for some acreage. So, maybe you need a place to rent and you have some livestock or horses or something like that. So just be aware, I don't have some real good price points on rental out there. I haven't really followed that market, but just know the price per square foot is probably going to be a little different because you're also dealing with acreage out in that area. So just something to keep in mind as we look at this. A B- shows good for families, and this is a rural area that, we'll look at it, but the crime statistics is pretty nil out there. You have a lot of outdoor activities. You are very close to, with Athol right here. Just down the road is Farragut State Park. We'll bring this back up. You got Farragut State Park right here with all these walking paths all over. There's hiking all over this place out through here. You're close to, they got swimming and boating all over out through here from Bayview. They got marinas. Like I said, they got hiking paths everywhere and up along the mountains here. You also have, in Spirit Lake, you've got Spirit Lake. You got Twin Lakes. So, if you're looking for fishing, boating, that type of stuff, you don't have to go very far to come out to some of these areas and be able to take advantage of that. You got the mountain range here, you got hunting, you got a lot of state land that's close by, so there's a lot of access to those types of things. So a lot of great things for families in that area. Jobs are showing a B, and if you're just getting started in the market and looking for a job, Athol probably is not the place you're going to go. It shows a medium household income of $48,500. There's not a lot of places there that are, it's a small town. You blink and you go right through Athol. So, they have the Super One. They got Ace Hardware. They do have, now they do have some medical services there with an Instacare. You do have a couple restaurants, a couple bars, a couple gas stations, that type of thing. So there's not a lot there. So I don't know why they ranked that so high, because there's just not a lot of jobs. Now, a lot of people probably also that live out there, there's a lot of retired people. You're going to see some people that work in agriculture, timber, forest service, that type of thing. So just know there's a lot of things. If you're living out there, you're most likely, if you're not self-employed or established somewhere, you're most likely commuting to somewhere else to go to a job. So I don't know why they rank that so high. I don't think that B is a good rank for that, because this is such a small town. There's not a lot of job opportunities out that way. Cost of living, C+. Again, that's probably getting drugged down by the housing. Housing does not help that at all. So that may be show a little higher, but also, when you look at cost of groceries and gas and a few of those things, because it is off the beaten path just a little bit. So there will be just a little bit higher cost of living out in those areas. So that is something to keep in mind. So that's probably not too far off. That's C+, might even need to be, when you start mixing in the housing, I'm sure that should probably drag that down just a little bit. But just something to keep in mind. They've got one grocery store out there. Now, like I said, you're 20 miles out of Coeur d'Alene, so to get to, the Costco or Walmart, that's, there's a Walmart in Hayden, there's a Costco in North Coeur d'Alene, so you're 20 minutes away to get to some of those areas. So that's probably where most people are doing their shopping, and trying to save some money. So keep that in mind. Outdoor activities, we talked a little bit about that with the good for families. You've got hunting, fishing, you have mountain biking there at the Farragut Park. You can do in the winter, they allow cross-country skiing. They've got boating, swimming, fishing, hunting. Maybe I said that. They got equestrian out through that area. There's, you name it, hiking, you name it, you can do it. You can see people out there kayaking and all these different things. So outdoor activities, it's just a great area if you want to be close to those types of things that lead to that quality of life. Then that is something that just keep in mind. There are a lot of those areas that are very close by out there that allow you to get out and just be in nature. So crime and safety, as you can see, they didn't grade it. There's no statistics for that area. It's such a small area, and a lot of it's rural. There just isn't enough problems out there, at least that are reported, that give you enough information to even grade it. So if you're looking for a very low crime area that's just in a pretty area that's with mountain views and trees and all that type of thing, then that's certainly, this is certainly a place that you might want to look at. Nightlife, they show as a B, and I have no idea what goes on. Maybe I need to take a trip out there and see what kind of nightlife, because I don't know what's lending to a B. I mean, as far as I know, there's a couple restaurants, there's a couple bars. I don't know of anybody that's traveling out to Athol to enjoy the nightlife, but maybe I don't run in the right circles. But so they graded it as a B. Maybe it's because it's close. You're, like I said, you're 20 minutes out of Coeur d'Alene. If you're looking more for that, or you want to drive into Spokane, if you're looking for more of a nightlife, whether it's dancing or you got bowling and all those things in Coeur d'Alene. And so there are things that are close, but I don't know that Athol lends to a lot of that. Diversity they have is a B+, and that one's just kind of a little confusing too. There's not a ton of diversity out there. Most of your people are, white conservative. And so as you can see, a lot of people are retired out in that area. You look at this, just almost 50% of the people out there, I guess that's a little lower, close to that 45% area or something like that, is in that 45 and above. And you've got a big percentage of it in 55 and above. So as you look down through, you got some younger kids, but just know that there's a lot of retired people in that area. And there again, you're out in rural area, other than right in, that Athol township there. You get outside of that and most everything is in acreages, a lot of it's 5 acres and above. And so there's, people go out there to have privacy and to just enjoy that quality of life. And it's, like I said, it's very beautiful out there. So let's talk a little bit about the weather. You are in the snow belt up there. So, you're going to get more snow than what you're seeing in the Coeur d'Alene area. The elevation there is 2392. It's not a whole lot. It's only about 100 feet higher than Coeur d'Alene, but starting at about that Rathdrum area, North Hayden, you really start getting into more of that snow belt, and so you're going to get a lot more snow. They report that, when I looked to see what I could find, it showed about 51 inches per year. I know there's got years that a lot more than that, and I don't know how many years they're averaging that over, but just know you're going to have a lot of snow out that way, more so than what you would find in the Coeur d'Alene area. So if you are somebody that's coming from a place that's always sunny and 75, just know you're going to need a snow blower, and if you're out on some acreage, you're going to need a tractor or a vehicle with a plow, and that's going to be a must for out in that area. So your summers are a lot like in Coeur d'Alene in that area. You've got an average of that 85 to 90, low 90s. But we have a lot of days. You're going to get days through July there, especially early August, where you have that mid to high 90s and even low 100s. So that's not uncommon at all through that area. Health and fitness, I can see why they graded that there, because anytime that you have a place that was so much outdoor activity, I think that lends to a lot of people that just want to get out and enjoy that type of area. So like I said, the quality of life that people are looking for, they want to come and hike and bike and walk and do all those things, enjoy that outdoors, even if it's just walking around their 5-acre parcel. We talked about close to swimming, you're close to ski area, biking, all that kind of stuff. So just keep that in mind. So I can definitely see why health and fitness would be in that area. The last one is Commute, and I have no idea why they did that as a C. As you can see, this is Athol right here, and it does, you got Highway 95 here, and you got just the little town of Athol here, and you come through, blink your eyes, and you're right through it. So there is no problems with the Commute. I see the town does come just a little further, but you get the gist. There's not much there. Very quickly to get through. You're probably not commuting. You got Highway 54 right there that shoots you up over to Spirit Lake in about 15 minutes, and so it does not take long. This is 95, heads to Sandpoint. This heads to Bayview and Farragut Park. Like I said, this heads to Spirit Lake, and then this is south to Coeur d'Alene. So commuting to Coeur d'Alene or maybe Sandpoint, if that's where you're working, could be, especially in the winter, I could see why you could get a C, because of the roads. But like I said, we're built for snow up here. Our plows are out all night if they need to be, but I've never been in a position where I've been stuck. So, you know, just of course, you don't always want to get out and drive on some of those roads. It does get snowy and icy, but just know if you're commuting into Coeur d'Alene, Hayden, or Spokane, you know, during the winter, it's going to be a little more of a commute. And gosh, even in the summer, you get a lot of traffic just from the tourists, especially up and down 95, people coming up and down from Canada, people headed camping, all that type of stuff. So keep that in mind. But yeah, shoot us a call or a text, a call, reach out. Me and my team, we're never too busy to talk to you. You know, if you have some questions about Athol, feel free, leave a comment. And like I said, would love to talk to you about your goals of moving to the Athol area or anywhere up here in North Idaho. Would love to help you make your move a smooth transition, and or just at least get you the information maybe you need. So feel free to reach out, and we'll see you next week on the next video. Thank you.